Hello, and thank you for joining me in another honing video. Today I'm going to be honing this Koraat 14-2.0. This is a special one. It was done for the our Wetshaving subreddit on Reddit. This one was purchased by 50 people. Only 50 of these were made. You can see it has the Koraat stamp, and it has the stamp of our little snoo, it's called, the little symbol we use to identify our group. The razor itself has a brushed steel, carbon steel blade, and then the rest of it is roughly finished. These are the specifications for Koraat's piggy bank razor, and this helped us get this razor at a very reasonable cost. Today I'm going to be honing this. I'm about to use this razor for 31 days starting tomorrow in August, and I'm going to give it a JNat edge, Japanese natural stone edge. The base stone that I'm going to use is this Nakayama stone. This is a 5+ hardness, meaning just what it sounds like, very hard. The particles in the stone are very, very fine, very densely packed. And I'll be doing a series of Nagura, each of which has coarser, larger particles than the base stone itself. I'll be starting with a sword polishing stone called a Chu. Then I'll be going to a Nagura called a Tenjyiou. Then I'll be going to a Nagura called a Mejiro. And then finally I'll be doing two other Nagura. This is a Koma, and then again we're going finer and finer effectively in grit. And then the final stone will be a Nakayama stone that has very similar grain particles to the base stone. So this is called a Tomo Nagura. So without further ado, let me get going. So unlike sharpening with coticles, with a cuticle you use slurry as well. I'm building a slurry with this slurry stone, which is a Nagura stone in the Japanese system. With a cuticle you use a stone that has the same size particles as the underlying stone. And the Japanese system, you go from coarser to finer using the slurry stones. I like this system a lot better. It's a lot more controllable, but both can be made to work. Okay, I'm not going to go too overboard on the thickness of this slurry because this razor is already sharp-ish. So my goal here is simply to do what I normally do, reduce the edge width by removing material on both sides to get a better apex. More finely defined apex, which gives me a sharper edge. That's literally all there is to it. Now the magic of JNATs is really in the pattern left by the abrasives on the bevel and on the very apex of the edge. That gives it its feel. There's nothing magic about the fact that these are sharpening stones, other than they have an amazing reputation, and you don't really find available stones that have the same similarity in particle size and same density. It doesn't appear as if you find that very often elsewhere. But I'm not an expert in the geology of this at all. I am just a person who, given a stone, I try to find out how to make it do what I'm doing here. How do I make it? How do I make it remove material in the way that I want it to? So I'm using the chew to get me close to my first level of refinement, and now I'm going to go to the Tenjyiou. Get these ready. So what I'm looking for here is a rounded surface. I don't go flat. I use a rounded surface on the stone to generate slurry. Makes it easier to generate a slurry. Okay. So we're going to continue our refinement here. Because I've used this stone quite a bit. This is literally my tiny, right? It's not a very big stone. It's my most expensive stone. And the reason for that is it has heritage. That is documented. That documentation got removed when it was surfaced for when I surfaced it for use. And I didn't manage to take a picture of it because I don't really see myself selling this stone. But its pedigree is what made it expensive. Not the fact that and the pedigree doesn't guarantee anything. But in this case, it worked out. Going to thin this slurry a little bit. I have two other base stones, two other base Nagura stones, and of them, the best looking is my Karasu, and the easiest to use in terms of its size is my Ozuku. Hang on, I'll go get those stones to show you. Okay, this is my Karasu. Quite the exotic stone. I literally bought it. This also comes from Nakayama, like this stone. I bought it primarily because I thought it looks cool. Turns out it's a terrific stone. This one does not have pedigree, but it turns out it's a terrific stone. Then this is another expensive stone. This is an Ozuku. Again, 5+ in hardness, which is very hard. This Karasu was 4+, so softer, more feel to the softer stones. This is another hard stone, and this one's nice because it's long. So those are the base stones that I have for finishing. I have others. I have other J-nats for knife sharpening, but I'm not going to bother you with that. Part of why I'm doing all this work is because I enjoy it. I don't need to be doing all of these steps in Nagura, but the part of the joy of Japanese naturals is that the feel of them is unique and a little bit off the charts. So let's see. Are we getting this thing sharp? Oh, we are definitely getting this sharp. It's going in with no effort already. No sound, no effort. And we have more to do. It's probably not going to get much better. But you know, we'll just keep going here. I have my high-tech inclination device here. Help keep the slurry on this side of the stone. All right, so we just did Tenjyiou. So now we're going to go to Mejiro, or Mejiro. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Whatever it is, I'm getting it wrong. I've been talking with a lot of people who are beginning at razor honing, and the tendency is to want to get J-nats right away because they're better in theory. They're certainly more expensive, and that and the hype that surrounds them makes everybody want to get them, obviously including me. you know, it's a stone that removes, it's a device that removes metal at the end of the day. So the heavy lifting in all of sharpening is the shaping. For razors, you can get synthetic stones that will narrow the bevel much more than a Japanese natural will. The steel may not be able to support that level of refinement, but you can do it with synthetic stones. So synthetic stones are not inferior in terms of actual shaping. Japanese naturals do, as I mentioned before, impart their own texture. The word I hear people use is imprint. I like that word. And you can feel that, but if you get the apex of pretty much equal, you can get the apex equal in terms of its keenness on a really good Japanese natural stone and like a 12K to 16K synthetic stone, maybe 12K. You can get the edge to be the same shape, and then the only thing you're going to feel is the difference in the texture, and there is some noticeable difference there. You know, is it worth, especially when you're starting out, is it worth paying the big bucks for these stones? I suggest that it is not. I suggest that if you really get good with synthetics, really get your act together with synthetics, then you're able to appreciate the imperfection that comes with using natural stones. Because each one is going to have its own personality, and you should have an idea of how well you can do with your skills before you deal with the imperfection and how to overcome that. The word I tend to use for the imperfection is personality. Each stone has its own personality. I mean, this particular Japanese natural is unique. And so for me, part of the experience is learning how much I can get out of the stone. All right, let's move on. So that was this. Yeah, that must have been Mejiro. Was that Mejiro? I think that was Mejiro. So now we're going to go to Koma. Pull this forward. Going to go to Koma. Find I'm not being overly concerned with washing the underlying stone off. This is a pretty imprecise, sharpening this way is very imprecise. Okay. So a downside to this stone is obviously its size. I would love to be able to use more of its length. I like my Ozuku, which I showed you, which is the long one, because of its length. I can just draw and abrade with one stroke. Here, the alternating strokes, I have to turn the razor almost right away. Now this Koraat steel takes an amazing edge, and it's almost indestructible once the edge is there. If I want to, which I won't, but if I want to, I could keep this edge on this razor for years with just a little touch up occasionally using a pasted strop, but I won't do that. All right, so we're down to the last one here. Down to the last Nagura. Let's see if we have any degree of sharpness. Well, we've gone backwards in sharpness. So I think we'll do a little refinement here. See if we had a little burr or something on there. Yep. Now it's much better. Okay, let's move on to the Tomo Nagura. This flattening stone is almost no longer cutting, so it's so worn out. Okay. So this slurry is very, very fine, and the stone will pull up material from the underlying base stone, which will be nice. I'm primarily just monitoring the feel of the edge on the stone while I'm doing these half strokes. I can feel it kind of get more into the stone. I get more of a sensation of the stone at the very edge as I do those half strokes, which tells me that I'm both wearing the edge and wearing away the texture on the stone that was put there when I raised the slurry with the Nagura. All right, let's do a little dilution. Go to a very misty slurry here. All right, let's see where we are. Soundless. No effort at all to break the surface. That's where we would like to be. All right, final frontier here. It's probably not necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. Final frontier is a little bit of water with a surfactant in it. In this case, it's ONR. This makes the surface feel very, very slippery. Reduces the amount of abrasion that the surface will give the razor. Well, yeah, the surface will reduce the abrasion of the surface. So I'm doing, this is, you know, as I said, probably not necessary, but kind of fun to do. The feel of this is pretty amazing. I'm letting what little abrasion there is, I'm just letting it work on the bevel. Not so much, I've got no edge bias at the moment. If anything, I'm biasing the pressure back towards the spine so that the stone can work back behind the apex a little bit. I'm just playing here. The edge will be refined enough that anything that's a little off, I can correct it with a few strokes. Let's dry it off and take a test. Yeah, that's we're pushing into the cloud here. You can, nothing to hear. Oh, sorry. I get carried away looking. I mean, this is literally just so, it floats into the packing peanut. This is, I need a new term. This is beyond pushing into the cloud. Okay, let me, I'm going to pause the video and go take a look at this under the microscope, do some stropping, and I will be back. All right, so I just showed you a microscope image of the edge. That consistency is from heel to toe on both sides. I checked it, and that's pretty much as good as I can do. I still have to strop this, but I'm going to let you go. It's been a long time here. Thank you so much for joining me. I always appreciate your questions and comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.